friends, it's me, Shaliza. Just wanted to touch base on a very busy Thursday evening. As you would know, many of you, the celebration of Passover is coming up, and with that, I have just been rereading the book of Exodus. And in rereading Exodus 2, there's so many little things that jump out at me that remind me that God is still in the miracle working business, that he holds both natural and supernatural in his hands. And even when we can't figure things out, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a plan that's going to be a great one. And my makeup, the way that I am, and based on what I do for a living, many of you all know that I'm an accountant by trade, by profession, a chartered accountant. I am a very analytical person. Things always need to add up in my mind. So when things don't add up, it takes an extra ounce of faith for me to really step into, okay, Lord, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to give it to you and I'm going to see it work out. Because even though I don't have the answer and I can't figure out the answer is in your hands, because you are God and I am not. I don't always need to know. That's how faith steps in. And the book tells us, the Bible tells us, that it is impossible to please God without faith. And I think about Moses' mother. The Bible tells us that she kept Moses until he was 3 months. How was she able to keep him during that time? This is a time when baby boys were being killed. We, us mothers, or anybody who's been exposed to a baby, you would know that babies cry a lot, especially in the beginning. Is it that God deafened the ears of the Egyptians? Is it that Moses just didn't really cry a lot, or he cried really softly? I don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us, but that in itself is a miracle, a big miracle. Then the other thing I think about is that she placed him in the Nile. So many of us would know that the Nile was in fact where the baby boys were being thrown. A lot of Bible scholars, a lot of historians talk about that and believe that because the crocodiles would have eaten them up. It would have been almost like a type of sacrifice to the god of the Nile, which the Egyptians would have worshipped. And yet we see even in that very situation, Moses was placed in the Nile and he was fine. Sometimes the very things that hurt other people don't hurt you because of who you belong to. Because Moses belonged to the Lord. His parents were Levites, consecrated priesthood. Moses was different. And we are different because we belong to Jesus. So we might be going through the same hardship in some form or fashion as the world. We might be exposed to the same situations, but our outcome is different because of the God we serve and because of the fact that we belong to him. Just like Moses, placed in the Nile, placed in a little basket. And yet not only he survived, but he grew up and he thrived and he was the deliverer of the Hebrew people. Sometimes the Lord will have you to pass through some difficult things. Sometimes he doesn't rebuke the trouble. Sometimes he delivers you from the trouble, yes, but sometimes he's the fourth man in the fire walking with you, and it's because he intends to do something mighty with you. So whatever you might be going through today, remember that he is the God of natural and supernatural. If he could sustain a baby in a papyrus basket, if he could sustain a baby from the day of birth to 3 months without the Egyptians hearing him cry, and he protected that baby, wouldn't he do it for you? The Bible says that to us who belong to Jesus, we are Abraham's seed. Galatians 3:14. He did miracles then, and he's still in the miracle working business, friends.